Okay, so get this. Today, we're diving into how researchers are making AI think more like us. I know, it sounds pretty sci-fi, but bear with me. It's all based on this Google AI paper about chain of thought prompting.
It's definitely going to challenge some assumptions about AI.
I'm all ears. What exactly is this chain of thought prompting and why all the buzz?
Okay, imagine you're tackling like a super complex problem.
Right, you don't just leap to the answer.
Exactly. You think it through step by step, maybe scribble some notes down. That's kind of what chain of thought prompting does for those big, large language models, LLMs.
So it's like giving the AI a roadmap.
Yeah, it guides the AI to break down the problem into these smaller, manageable steps, just like we would.
So instead of just spitting out an answer, the AI is showing its work, explaining how it got there.
Exactly. And that's actually huge for trust,
Hmm.
especially as AI gets more involved in, well, life-changing decisions.
Makes total sense. If an AI is recommending a financial investment or maybe helping diagnose a medical condition,
Oh, absolutely. You'd want to understand the how, not just the what.
right, the why behind the what. And is this really making a difference in how well these AI models perform?
Well, researchers have seen dramatic improvement across a range of tasks. We're talking complex math problems, deciphering ambiguous situations, even things like figuring out how to tell a robot what to do.
So it's not just about making AI better at math, it's about making it a more flexible, adaptable thinker.
Precisely. And they tested this out on various types of LLMs, some of the biggest ones out there, like Paul M and GPT-3.
Those are the heavy hitters, right? The ones with billions of parameters.
That's right. And what's really wild is this chain of thought prompting seems to work best with these massive models, almost like there's a tipping point where it really kicks in.
So the bigger the AI's brain, the better it handles those step-by-step instructions.
Seems that way. But the key takeaway is it's not just about size, it's about the right approach. Chain of thought prompting taps into how these large models learn and reason.
It's like we're figuring out their language, learning to guide their thinking to unleash their full potential.
That's a perfect way to put it. But it's not just about making AI smarter, it's about making it more understandable to us humans.
Right back to that trust factor. If we can follow the AI's logic, we're more likely to trust its judgment. But were there any hiccups, any surprises in the findings?
One thing that stood out was that it wasn't a magic bullet for every single AI model. Some seemed more receptive to this step-by-step thinking than others.
Maybe because of how they were trained or the underlying structure of the model itself.
Exactly. It's not one size fits all.
So let's get concrete. Can you walk me through an example where this chain of thought prompting really shines?
Okay, imagine you ask the AI, how many thorns are on a rose bush? You tell it 3 rose bushes, each with 25 roses. Each rose has 8 thorns.
So it's basic multiplication, but needs a few steps to get there.
Right. A traditional AI might just crunch those numbers and give the answer. But with chain of thought prompting, it lays it all out.
Like talks it through.
Yeah. It might say, first I got to find the total roses. 25 roses per bush times 3 bushes equals 75 roses. Then next, I multiply those roses by the thorns per rose. 75 roses times 8 thorns per rose equals 600 thorns.
Whoa. So it's not just showing its work, it's explaining its reasoning. I can see how that builds confidence in the results.
And it goes beyond just simple math. They've tested it with tasks that need more complex reasoning, like understanding cause and effect, or even making a plan to achieve a goal.
It's like giving AI a whole new set of cognitive tools. But we're going to have to pause here and pick up right where we left off in part 2.
So we're back, ready to dig deeper into this whole chain of thought prompting thing.
Totally. That last example really got me thinking. It's amazing how it lets AI break things down step by step. But part of me still wonders, is this like real thinking or just a really slick trick?
Yeah, the classic question of thinking, especially when it comes to machines. Always a good one to spark debate.
So what's your take? Is AI truly reasoning like we do or just mimicking human thought patterns?
It's a tricky one. But what we can say for sure is it's giving some remarkable results. AI is solving problems that stumped it before and doing it in a way that, yeah, looks a lot like how humans reason.
So maybe it's less about defining thinking perfectly and more about recognizing there are levels to it. And AI is climbing that ladder thanks to techniques like this.
Right on. Instead of getting hung up on words, let's look at what this means in practice. And what's interesting is it seems to work best with those mega-size AI models, the ones with billions of parameters.
Like those Paul M and GPT-3 we talked about. Why is that? Just a case of bigger is better.
More data, more parameters, those help, For sure. But there's something else at play. Like, these huge models have this potential for reasoning that's kind of dormant until you hit it with the right approach.
So it's less about brute computational force, more about guiding the AI's thought process, helping it organize and connect the dots in ways it couldn't before.
Exactly. It's like giving it a scaffold to build its reasoning on.
Fascinating. So you're saying these big language models might have like emergent intelligence, new abilities popping up as they get bigger.
Researchers are definitely exploring that. It's one of the most intriguing parts of all this. Think about an ant colony, right? One ant, not so impressive. But together, they build these intricate structures, solve problems no single ant could handle.
Love that analogy. So these huge AI models are like ant colonies. Individual parts might be simple, but the collective intelligence is far greater.
Precisely. And chain of thought prompting could be our way to tap into that. To give it a voice, let it show us its reasoning in a way we understand.
Mind-blowing stuff. But let's be realistic for a sec. As promising as this is, are there downsides, risks we got to keep in mind?
Definitely a good question. Got to approach any powerful tool with caution.
So what are some potential pitfalls to watch out for?
One worry is it could be used to create AI that seems smarter or more trustworthy than it actually is. These models are still learning, they can make mistakes, just like us.
So even if the AI's reasoning sounds convincing, we can't just take it at face value.
Right. It's crucial to figure out ways to check if its reasoning is valid, especially for big decisions.
Makes sense. Any other concerns on the radar?
Well, there's the impact on jobs. As AI gets better at this kind of thinking, it might automate tasks we thought needed human intelligence.
True. But maybe it's a chance to rethink how we work. Focus on things that are uniquely human, like creativity, empathy, critical thinking.
That's the spirit. Adapting and evolving alongside these changes is key.
This whole conversation is really making me ponder the future. What role will AI play in shaping our world?
Exciting times, wouldn't you say?
Totally. But there's so much more ground to cover. We'll be right back to continue our deep dive into chain of thought prompting in part 3. Welcome back. I'm still processing all this talk about AI learning to think like us. Chain of thought prompting is a real game changer, huh?
No doubt. And the possibilities, oh man, the possibilities are huge.
True. But before we go full-on sci-fi daydreaming, how do we know this isn't just, a fluke? What if it only works in very specific cases?
Valid question. The researchers definitely wanted to make sure it was the real deal. They ran a whole bunch of tests to be sure it wasn't just some, one-trick pony.
So they put it through its paces. Tell me more about these tests.
Well, they tried it on AI models of all different sizes,
Mm.
to see if it was only those massive billion-parameter ones that benefited.
What'd they find?
It was cool, actually. While chain of thought prompting did work best with the bigger models, even the smaller, less resource-intensive ones showed improvement.
So this isn't just for the AI elite. It could have wider applications.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
They also played around with how they wrote the prompts themselves, changed the wording, the number of examples they gave the AI, even had different people write them.
To make sure the success wasn't tied to some secret formula or just like one really good prompt writer.
Exactly. They wanted to know if the technique itself was solid and worked reliably across the board.
So what's the verdict?
It held up pretty darn well. There were some small differences depending on the exact prompt and the AI model, but the core benefits were consistent.
That's a relief. So we're not dealing with something super fragile that breaks if you tweak the settings a bit.
Nope. But there's still this big looming question.
I think I know where you're going with this. Why does it work so well? What's going on inside those AI models that lets them do this higher level reasoning?
Bingo. We can see the results. We can measure how much better they get. But those inner workings, that's still a bit of a black box.
Like, we found an amazing new tool, but no instruction manual.
Perfect analogy. We're still figuring out how this chain of thought prompting messes with the AI's internal representations, how it shapes the way it makes decisions.
Sounds like a whole lot more research is needed then.
Oh yeah, tons. And it's super exciting for AI researchers. Unraveling all this could lead to even bigger AI breakthroughs. Who knows? We might get machines that can reason like us, or even better, someday.
Can't wait to see what they come up with. But for now, let's talk real-world stuff. I can see this being a game changer in healthcare, education, maybe even creative writing.
Totally. Just imagine AI helping doctors diagnose tough medical cases, giving step-by-step explanations, or AI tutors customizing learning for each student, seeing where they struggle.
Amazing. You mentioned creative writing. You mean like AI writing novels.
Hey, it's not impossible. We're already seeing it with poetry, scripts, even music composition. This chain of thought thing is helping AI get more creative, more expressive.
So not just smarter, but more artistic too. This is really pushing the limits of what we thought AI could do.
No kidding. And it raises these deep questions about what creativity, even i.e., can AI be truly creative like a human?
We'll have to save that philosophical debate for another day. For now, let's zoom out a bit. If AI can think more like us, what does that mean for our jobs, our relationships with machines, even what it means to be human?
The big questions, right? No easy answers there. But I think if we face these challenges head on, have those open and honest conversations about AI's potential, we can shape a future where humans and machines work together for everyone's benefit.
Well said. This deep dive into chain of thought prompting has been an eye-opener. AI is evolving fast, and it's our job to make sure that evolution takes us somewhere good.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise. This has been fascinating.
Happy to be here.
And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of AI. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into the frontiers of science and tech. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions.